So you have 4 kids. So I imagine it was quite a challenge to balance your motherhood and business.
Yes,
What do you
that's
think helped you? How did you manage to do that?
lots of younger women ask me this question, and I guess I have a couple of different answers. First of all, it's not easy, as we all know, but part of the approach that I took was I didn't try to figure it all out at once. When you have 4 kids, they're in different stages, and there's quite an age difference with my kids. So, 2 of my older kids are not mine biologically, but they are very much mine in my heart. and and then I've got 2 that were younger. So they're going to be they all were in very different stages, and I really tried to mold what I was doing around what their needs were in a lot of cases. And I had fantastic help at home. That's a key part of that was a key part of the ingredient for me. Well, we were kind of said, look, this is going to be quite a ride. There's going to be lots of unanticipated things we're going to need, extra help. But basically the philosophy was the kids always came first. And I think the advice I would give to younger mothers is I think there's a tendency to figure it out all at once. What is this formula? What is this magic formula that I'm going to use for work-life balance? And I think that's just a wrong question. It is really a daily question. It's very fluid, and you have to be able to be flexible, and you've got to have great people around you. And the key thing is you've got to have an amazing husband, which I'm really blessed with, because we were 100% aligned that no matter what was happening with the business, family came first, and we would just do our best kind of on a day-to-day basis. I mean, the reality is you cannot be in 2 places at once. You can either be at your kid's basketball game, or you can be closing a big deal in New York. You cannot be in both places. So there were plenty of times where I had to have someone from my team go and do something that I would frankly, in many ways prefer to be doing, but because of the needs of the family, I did not want to travel or wanted to be somewhere else. And so you have to put your ego aside, and you have to say, what is the best way to get this done? And everything I have to get done. So there are daily trade-offs, and there's no one right way of figuring it out that you can kind of say, here's the formula. Here's what I did, you should do it too. I just don't think that exists. I think every kid is different. The 4 of mine had different needs at different points in their lives, and that applies to their dad too. There were plenty of times where, my husband would be in a better position for whatever one of the kids was going through to be able to handle it. So I would pick things up that he was doing so that he could, he could do whatever he had to do with the kids. So very much of it, that's a long answer, but I would say it was a daily challenge.
Sounds like a teamwork. Yeah, it's a teamwork. If we think about building a startup, it's also very fluid.
Yeah, absolutely.
At the end of the day, it's how well people cooperate, how well they gel together. Because also in the beginning in a startup, it's not always clear who does exactly what job. So I personally think that a family in this sense is not that different. I agree with you completely that it's. You grow with your children, with your husband, you grow together and learn.
Yeah, a lot of people would say to me, oh, how I could never work with my husband, how do you guys do that? And I kind of have 2 answers to that. One is that we worked together before we got married very effectively. So we kind of had a pretty strong series of data points that we worked well together. But the second is that when you're both entrepreneurs, and you are building the same company and you're building a family, you're very organically and kind of holistically aligned. And if we were both building 2 separate companies, I think it would have been a hell of a lot harder. But the fact that we both we were very aligned on what was important, what our priorities are, and how we were going to make those trade-offs. And we helped each other, and we had a fantastic team that was just outstanding. So we were really lucky.